told him no visitors, but he wanted to congratulate you anyway.
Wayne Gretzky has done it again.
Signing the biggest deal in hockey history.
Gretzky's rewriting the entire NHL record book.
During this class, I'm going to teach you the athlete's mindset that my own father taught me as a youngster all the way through my career. You don't have to be a great athlete to make an athlete's mindset work for you. Having a belief in yourself is 3/4 of the battle. I'm Wayne Gretzky, and this is my masterclass.
Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Lewis here. Today what we're going to be talking about is the Wayne Gretzky Masterclass. We're going to teach you everything that you need to know before you jump and invest in a program like this. Now, as you can see, I've watched all 19 of the lessons and I've definitely formed an opinion on whether or not you should get it based on the type of person that you are. For example, if you're a business owner, you probably want to get something like this. However, if you want to learn hockey from Wayne Gretzky, like actual hockey, real hockey, you probably don't want this. Now that's where the catalyst is, and let me explain further and stick with me to the end of this video so you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's jump into the masterclass, show you a bit around, show you what you get, figure out if it's worth it for you based on the person you are, but also really just make sure that you're comfortable and you know exactly what you're getting before you invest in something like this. Now, how much is masterclass? The price is based on the region that you're in. As always, there's a link in the description, so make sure you take advantage of that. I will also have a link in the comment section below as a pinned comment. If you have any questions, let me know. So make sure to stay to the end of this video as I'm giving away masterclass for free, and you'll have all the details at the end of this video. Now, Masterclass has really cleaned up their design in the last few years to make it really simple, and I love that. So the first one is really discover what other masterclasses are there available, and you can just see if you want to have a look at other ones, which may interest you. So for example, if you're an athlete, you may want to know how Serena Williams plays tennis and her thought process. You have basketball on there, you have all of those different ones. Either way, you can go and discover it just by clicking discover. Then you have My Progress. You actually saw the My Progress link just before this. You noticed that there was a whole bunch of completed classes, and I clicked on the Wayne Gretzky Masterclass. My Progress is just, you could take multiple classes at the same time and do them over a period of time because you have a lot of time to actually do this. Then you have your library. Very similar to Discover. I actually don't think library should be there. I think it's a redundant button in my opinion. But hey, if you want to just look up something or search something like Wayne Gretzky, that's fine. Consider library just as a glorified search button. Then you have menu. You have your profile, where this is really a community piece. The community play here is one of the most valuable pieces of all of masterclass. This is where you can actively engage in other people that are taking these masterclasses and what they're learning, what findings they're learning, how they're applying it into the real world. This, in my opinion, is more valuable than all the classes combined. It's the community piece and also your ability to interact with others that are just taking the class in general. So a very, very different animal. I highly recommend, if you're going to invest in the masterclass, firstly click my link and then join this community that masterclass is built for you. You can browse trailers, irrelevant. They're all on YouTube anyway. You have quick lists. This is just a glorified way of saying a playlist. So you can pull together sort of like a playlist. So you can pull together lists from other masterclasses. So you could pull Chris Voss, Gordon Ramsay, and create Frankenstein masterclass of your own. So quick lists are pretty cool like that. So in order to get the send a guest pass, this is a new thing. So I'll be giving them, of course, away for you guys. It'll give you a free week of masterclass. All you have to do is like this video and comment below, and then join the community that I have linked below, which hosts a whole bunch of different masterclass lovers. All you have to do is join that community and then DM me. So just direct message me. My name is Lewis in the group. You know who I am. I'm one of the admins. Have fun, and then I will give you a free week. Let's jump right into the masterclass by starting with the masterclass workbook that you get. So this is the Wayne Gretzky Masterclass workbook that you get once you invest in the course. Now, I want to be really respectful for those that invest in this masterclass, because it's not fair if I just show you all 22 pages and you haven't purchased it. It's just not cool for everyone else. However, I will show you the first 4 pages to see what you get. Now, you can see it's really high quality stuff. Contents, what's really cool about what masterclass does is they give you supplementary information based on the video you're watching. On page 3, that's literally the first video. So page 3 in this case is video 1, which is Meet Wayne Gretzky, who he is and what he's all about. Now, I'll actually go to that, and then you can pause the video and read it if you like, or slow the video down, whatever you want to do. But you can go and read that. I'll actually zoom in for you as well, just so you can see it a bit easier. By all means, go read it if you want to read that. Let's jump back into the masterclass right now. The Wayne Gretzky Masterclass lessons. Now, this is what you're really paying for. So lesson 1 is is all about meeting your instructor, Wayne Gretzky, the great one, if you will, and he shares his foundation behind the mindset and provides an overview of this class. This class is really an overview of who he is, very similar to the intro you watched on this video. He's going to talk about what he's going to teach, all the things that he's going to go through. Now, before you jump into this class, he's going to say, listen, you're actually not going to learn how to become a hockey player here. You're going to learn the mindset on how I became one of the best hockey players. And one of the central themes in this masterclass is really having an extreme set focus on what you're doing and ultimately being an all-rounder as well, which is a really crazy dynamic. So he talks about when he was younger, he used to play all forms of sports, from baseball, hockey, and then ultimately lacrosse, and how all of those things contributed to his ability to absolutely destroy the hockey team. Now he's talking about when he was 6 years old, he was versing 12-year-old opponents, which ultimately is double their age. And that's a really powerful progression you see. And he was with this team from 6 all the way to 12 or 11 years old. He was playing with people at such an older age. And you ultimately just learn about that overview. Lesson 2 is really going back to what I was saying before, and that's playing sports a lot. He played lacrosse, baseball, ice hockey, obviously. He played soccer, and he played a whole range of sports. Not only that, it's because both of his parents were actual athletes at the time. If you see what happens to sport families, and they started him out at an extremely young age. Lesson 3 is really the old school way of learning how to play hockey. Now, what he talks about here is learning to do something that doesn't necessarily require expensive equipment. Right now, all this new generation stuff, everyone's buying the best ice hockey boots. Everyone's buying, going to the best training and getting psychological help and mindset stuff. And what he's saying is listen guys, you don't really need all that crap. Wayne's father got creative with homemade methods to teach his son the fundamentals of hockey, which fueled Wayne's love for the sport. And you can see the photo of his father actually building a mini ice rink, and it wasn't massive, in his backyard. He talks about spending 7 days spraying the lawn and freezing it over 6 times or each day, morning and night, just to get some really clean ice, and then having his kids play on it. You see the old school way of learning hockey. Now, if you're a hockey fanatic, this is definitely something you want to be exposed to. You want to appreciate the history, and as much as you may not think this is absolute history, it is, because you're learning from one of the greats, one of the goats of ice hockey. Well, this goes for 7 minutes and 30 seconds, especially if you appreciate the old way of doing things. Lesson 4 is about having idols and inspirations. Now, I noticed this especially in the business world, especially competitive sports, both. It's really important to find the person or people who inspire you and not only watch what they do, but also learn how hard they work to get where they are. He really emphasizes that nothing really comes easy, but also learning from others is one of the most critical things you can do. He talks about one of his idols. I don't have the name on me right now, but he talks about how he used to watch his idol 1 day a week because they only had ice hockey on a Friday night during ice hockey time, and he would watch this person religiously. There's a reason why he has 99 on his jersey. It's because of his childhood hero, who he eventually played with, by the way. Lesson 5 is all about playing above your level. Now, there's a famous quote, and he doesn't actually say this, but this is learned from another masterclass that I took, and that was, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. And in this case, when Wayne was 6 years old, he joined a team which was full of 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds. He continued playing with older age groups until he was pro at 17. So think about this for a second. At 6 years old, he was playing with 10-year-olds. At 17-year-olds, he was playing with 30-year-olds. So in saying that, if you look at this and think about this for a moment, throughout his entire life, he was playing with people that were ultimately better than him, and he didn't even recognize at the time that him getting absolutely crushed by older people, or even being on their level by much older people and professionals at age 17, you can see by the time he was 25, 22, 23 years old, he was an absolute monster player and was drawing insane crowds because ultimately he was playing above his level the entire time of his entire hockey career. Creativity over structure. Now, Wayne believes that the freedom of an unstructured style of play on the ice and playing multiple sports in his youth gave him the advantage of creativity and versatility. He talks about a very powerful story here. He was playing at 13 or 14 years old, and he was playing at another team that was extremely structured, and they destroyed his team. They went something like 8-0 or 8-1. And during Wayne's ride home, he was talking to his father, and his father said something very powerful to him. Because that team was so structured and so ordered, and had all and no chaos or no unstructure and no freedom, none of his opponents that destroyed him would make it to the NHL. 5 of the players that lost on Wayne Gretzky's team made it to the AHL, and not one of the other members made it to the NHL, because structure in the world of creativity and being a versatile ice skater is quite crap if you want to be the best. And that's not me saying it, that's literally one of the GOATs saying that structure is crap relative to freedom, versatility, and creativity. One of the most powerful lessons that you could learn as anyone, an ice hockey player, a business person, if you understand this concept, this could really take you far. And I really recommend you watch this. As much as this is only 6 minutes, this is one of the most powerful lessons that you'll get from this masterclass by far. Great expectations. Sometimes in order to do what's best for your career, it's necessary to make hard decisions that take you well out of your comfort zone. For Wayne, this meant moving away from his hometown at age 14 and living with families in other cities. So not only did this guy leave home at such an early age and get out of his comfort zone, think about this for a second. He's a 14-year-old kid, not knowing anything about the world, leaving his home and living with another family to play a sport that he was a rock star at. This is a very profound thing, and he talks about crying himself to sleep for months on end because he had no idea. He wanted to go home. He wanted to go back to his grandparents, have those dinners with them, and he was just taken out of that and getting out of those comfort zones. And you learn that journey with him. This is how you're really exposing yourself and learning from his experiences rather than him saying, this is how it is. This is saying, okay, this is how I've done it, and this is how I was one of the greatest because I made all these sacrifices and I've done all these different things as a result, and this formulated who I am. It isn't very much, oh, I'm teaching you how to do this. It's, here's my story, and this is what's worked for myself and other team members that I've told this story to. So it's pretty good like that. 80 is all about setting attainable goals. So it's nice to dream big, but to make those dreams come true, you have to set realistic goals and achieve them one by one. A great person that talks about this is Chris Voss, and he talks about macro strategy and micro speed. Now, what's cool about this is all these masterclasses there's so many commonalities between these successful people. But what Wayne Gretzky is essentially saying here is you need to be quick, you need to be able to set your goals and focus on goals on a one-on-one basis, but also have a macro strategy or macro goal or a macro dream in order to attain, and that's why you're achieving these micro goals. And in the workbook, it gives you additional information and templates that you can work off in order to achieve your goals. Now, transitioning to the big leagues. So this would really help someone that is a young NHL player or anyone that is young in the world that is eventually going to go into the workforce. So when you are hired to do a job, you have to be professional and you have to have a responsibility to meet expectations of your employer and your teammates. So hockey is a game, especially at a pro level, it is also a business. Now, you can also apply this to a business case, especially the 18 to 24-year-old. This would be a very powerful video for you. I definitely see how a lot of younglings could prepare for this by watching a video like this. It's taking responsibility. Now you're no longer hanging around children anymore. You're hanging around with adults, with families, with 5-year-olds. There's a massive, colossal difference between transitioning to the minors or the young people to actually getting a job and being in the real world with real life people. You have to be a completely different animal. And this video will teach you and really solidify that information in your mind. Lesson 10 is all about finding your place because everybody is working with different levels and talents and skills. It's important to make honest assessments of what you're good at and what you're not. Otherwise, you will keep trying to be that fish climbing a tree. He ultimately says, focus and hyper focus on exactly what you're good at and then double down on that. Lesson 11, you miss 100 of the shots you don't take. Little did I know that Wayne Gretzky is actually one of the founders of this statement. In his second year in the NHL, Wayne acted on the advice of his dad and coaches who spent years encouraging him to shoot more. He scored 50 goals in the first 39 games, an NHL record that most experts agree will never likely be broken. However, the point here is if you don't take your shot, you're going to miss it 100% of the time. This is a profound thing in the world of every sport. So what you really hear in this video is his transition from being a hyper-focused team player, and he always was a hyper-focused and he always will be a hyper-focused team player. However, you see him transition from, okay, I'm a kid, I'm a 17-year-old, I'm going to keep passing this puck, so let the experts to do it. And then you see him transition at the age of 2021 into an absolute monster shooter. And he talks about that transition. So you see a mid-career transition in the way he was playing or his play style, which is quite cool to hear. Then he talks about how to build a championship team. The Oilers coach developed a creative style to play based on unique talents of Wayne and his teammates, and it resulted in a completely different style of hockey, one of the most exciting teams in the league's history. Now, what he did there, he talks about how he made sacrifices at the start and he built a team of players that weren't necessarily the best at the time. However, they were young and they were hungry and they could grow together as a team to ultimately build an amazing team, which eventually, of course, happened. So he talks about that journey and he talks about how you build a team. This could also be applied in a business mindset. You got to remember, in the ice hockey world, there was still insane costs to losing during those initial stages. However, at the end and winning all those championships, the dividend definitely paid off. The mindset of a champion. In losing their first chance at the Stanley Cup, the Oilers learned a valuable lesson in the preparation and the dedication. If you want to become the best, develop consistent habits and practice with a purpose. Now, this is what I found slightly contradictory. He says structure is actually really bad in being creative. And now, once he's in the pro leagues and once he needs to have absolute structure and practice every day, now this is where structure comes in. And you find this distinction as you develop in this masterclass. It's it's really, as you're learning, and you're still learning even if you're not in the pros, and you're learning the entire time, by the way. The point is, as you're a junior, you don't want structure. You want absolute freedom and you want absolute creativity in order to get to a point where you are a unique player that's consistently amazing. However, when you become at that pinnacle where you're one game off the Stanley Cup, this is when you can say, okay, let's remove the chaos and bring a bit more order into place. And that's where he talks about being on the ice every morning, developing a consistent habit of always turning right when you enter the ice before a game. You'll notice that he talks about all of these different things, these tiny little things, minute little things that actually add up a lot. So once they developed those processes and created that order within their team, they ultimately became the best and won multiple Stanley Cups. So order is important once you get to the level where order is needed, which is insane when you think about that mentality. So don't rest on your laurels. A championship mindset means that success is not defined by a single victory. So he said, okay, listen guys, we won the Stanley Cup. How do we prove that we're not just a one-hit wonder? After winning their first Stanley Cup, Wayne and his teammates worked even harder the next year to prove that they weren't just a one-hit wonder, and it resulted in 3 more championships. Lesson 15 is all about expecting the unexpected. Life is full of changes, so it's important to prepare for anything that is thrown your way. After winning 4 Stanley Cups in the span of 5 years in Toronto, a Canadian city known for hockey, Wayne was traded to LA. There's a reason why I played the Mighty Ducks at the start of this. Wayne Gretzky was the catalyst that brought hockey to LA, in otherwise known as a very sunny state. And you see that transition, and while he doesn't like to admit that he was a big part of that, he definitely was. There's a reason he's in Disney movies, and it's because he was traded to LA. LA saw the value in bringing this monster to their team, and ultimately they did pretty well as a result. 16 is earning respect from your peers. Now, a lot of people in the workforce don't know how to earn respect from peers, and he talks about accomplishing players hold a unique position and have a responsibility to step up as leaders, but they should always make it a priority to earn the respect of their teammates. And he discusses exactly how to do that, which is insane if you're not being respected even by your colleagues at work. This insight, this information will help you, I guarantee that. Lesson 17 is staying healthy to stay in the game. You have to be present to win, and maintaining your physical and mental health allows you to be at your best for as long as possible. Again, this masterclass isn't about how to play NHL or how to play hockey or get into the NHL. It's about the mindset you need to be successful in anything that you do in life, regardless of if it's ice hockey, football, whatever it is. This can be applied to all forms of business as well, which I find at value for me. Get your rest, eat healthy, and stay active. You'll be in a good spot, and create a bit of order in that area. Lesson 18 is all about walking the walk. Now he says, and he's very humble like this, you never see Wayne Gretzky say, you know what, I was the best. I won all these Stanley Cups. I know exactly what it means to be an absolute monster. He never is talking like that at all. He says, let my actions dictate who I am. Let other people make the talking happen. So Wayne holds more records than anyone in the history of NHL, and he's widely known as the best hockey player who's ever lived. And rather than just talk about it, he's a big believer in leading by example and letting hard work speak for itself. I love this lesson personally. Lesson 19 is all about him playing it forward, or otherwise known as paying it forward. From growing up in sports to becoming a pro hockey player and a father of 5 kids, Wayne has a unique perspective on the way people handle youth sports. He believes it should be all about fun. And you see the company that he built in order to support children in the world of hockey, which is quite cool. And that, my friends, is the Wayne Gretzky Masterclass, teaches the athlete's mindset. And as always, I have a link in the description, which you can get the masterclass for an unknown amount. In Australia, it's that price a month. So that's how much it is in my region. However, it will be different in your region. Is the Wayne Gretzky Masterclass truly worth it? The answer is yes and no. Now, if you are an NHL player that already understands the mindset that you need to become a great like Wayne Gretzky, you don't need this. If you're looking for a masterclass that will teach you the ins and outs of ice hockey, no, you don't want to get this either. If you are someone that wants to understand a mindset from somebody that is the greatest at their craft and look at how they reverse engineer things, then absolutely. Would I recommend this type of mindset or video course to anyone that's about to start any endeavor and wants to go all in it? Absolutely. If you want to start a business, if you want to understand the mindset, if you are about to kick off a new sport and you want to take this thing seriously, then absolutely you want to invest in this. Again, I have a link in the description. Go for it. Now, what exactly is included in the masterclass subscription? There are over 100 classes you can get, and they are adding masterclasses from greats every month. You can download and watch it offline through the mobile app, through the masterclass mobile app, and you can get that through the Google App Store. for. There are PDF workbooks. You can watch this on your desktop, your phone, your TV, wherever you are. It's a how do I give you one of the free weeks of masterclass that I'm entitled to now. All you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below about what you think of Wayne Gretzky. Make sure you have Wayne Gretzky in the comment that you write, and then join my little community and just DM me, DM me saying, hey, you know, I've done all these things. Can I have my free week? Now, I only have 3 of these things to give away. However, they may open up to me as we keep going. So it could be 3 a month or whatever it is. But otherwise, if you want to invest in this, I actually recommend you do invest, provided you follow the recommendations that I've just alluded to. Otherwise, everyone, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has an amazing day, night, wherever you are in the world. Lewis, out.